Yeah, dude, there's been times like I've come away, just like, oh, I can't believe, they said that shit like that fucking wasn't. It's like I'm working on the fucking...
He's obviously... Chuck's being kind, everyone. What he's trying to say is fucking Pepe Tortilla, fucking Ovox, these cocksuckers.
There was a time I was fighting like on the fucking eggs. Like I was in the eggs and there's like 2 chargers. It was before they had quit putting like 9 chargers on the screen at once and I just kept dying and I'm trying to get them fucking eggs and you two are just bing bonging around the fucking map and like you say, What are you dying to over there? like on top of it, and like, and you're just like
oh, I gotta, what minute of the pod is this? I gotta save this moment. Helldivers. Mount up. How's it going, ChukTomahawk?
It's going well, man. How's it going over there?
Dun, 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 dun.
It's a catchy tune, isn't it?
Everything's going good. And listeners, we promise you, well, I can't make this promise. I guess I should have consulted with you first, Chuck, but can we promise the listeners that after this one, we'll talk about something else than Helldivers?
Yeah, it's bound to happen eventually, yeah.
Yeah, fact is, we actually have a really cool episode coming up for everyone. We're going to do a retrospective, kind of going back to our roots when we used to actually like review old gaming stuff. And then compare it to how it's evolved over time into what the iterations look like today. That's kind of how we started this whole little adventure. And yeah, we're gonna bring a fun one coming up. I don't know if I want to tease it or not. Any beyond that? What do you think, Chuck? Here, let me bring you up larger on the screen here. There you go.
It has been kind of fun to go back and look into that like a topic like that, but. Yeah, I think we can probably save it for the real.
No, let's tease it. We'll get everyone. Well, we're gonna go back and review an older console, but this console was like, oh man, it was like foundational in the evolution of video game consoles, particularly because of one. We'll call it a part. But definitely tune in for the next episode because we're going to do a retrospective on a very important gaming console in the history of gaming. Yeah. And that was brought to us by ChukTomahawk. A good idea.
Yeah, this is one I needed to learn about too because I think I was just barely a little bit before my time. I was still just a toddler, not even playing video games. So,
yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. So, yeah, stay tuned for next weekend or the weekend after, probably. But maybe we can pull it off next weekend. We'll see. But yeah, next episode is gonna be a fun one. So definitely tune in for that. Anyways, welcome gamers, non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers, and even NPCs, and all you Helldivers. We do not discriminate. This is the New Wave Gaming Podcast, and welcome for our 45th episode with host ChukTomahawk and myself, Ovox. So, Chuck, you're doing good, you were saying?
Yeah, man. I kicked I was changing a spare tire and kicked it and thought I broke my foot. But other than that, it's been pretty straight.
You'd be the second Helldiver that I know that would have a broken foot.
Yeah. You have to say, when that shocking pain went up my leg, all that bravado and tough Helldiver had to go right out the window. I did get the tire off, but
you kicked the tire, you felt that shot go up your leg, and all of a sudden you were looking for the extraction point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel that. But yeah, man, it's going pretty straight. How about over there?
That would be actually a cool. Oh, I'm sorry. Before yeah, a thought came to mind with what you said. Everything's great. Thank you. Yeah, no, everything's good over here. No news really. Just been enjoying Helldivers. Saw that Grand Theft Auto 5 online or Grand Theft Auto Online was on sale on the PlayStation 5 for like $9.99, so I jumped on that, and everything's good, man. Everything's good. But before because I'm gonna forget, I always forget shit. What you said brought something to mind. You said you were fixing your tire. Flat? Was it flat?
Fuck yeah.
Easy fix, right? You know, if you know how to fix a tire, well, it can be difficult at times, but usually it's an easy fix. But what I'm getting at here is that would actually be a fun mission. That could be something that they could incorporate, you know, where Helldivers have to go in and fix something.
Yeah.
Like some sort of like, you know, is that a mission already? I feel like, what do we got? We've got surveys, we've got geological surveys, we've got broadcasts you got to take out. And of course there's all sorts of like, yeah, there's the eggs, but more of like the structural stuff. Chuck, what comes to mind? Like,
you definitely have sort of like you're launching an ICBM, and a lot of missions will have like sort of sub missions where you got to turn on a power generator that's shut down, or go pick up some codes, some launch codes or something. But I would say
there's
once
no
we get
right?
our vehicles though, there could totally be you got a vehicle with the flat tire type scenario, and you got to get this down there.
You got like you got a convoy of scientists and civilians that are caught up in this one section. You got to go fix the lead vehicle or something. Wouldn't that be dope, dude? Totally.
It would be very realistic too. I think far as war goes, like you always think of the shooting part, but there's all sorts of logistical things that go down that
you got to send in the engineers sometimes, man.
And when
what
it's
are those
in
guys
the
called
heat,
in the Army? The Army Civil Engineer? No. The Civil Corps of Engineers or something, like Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, like
the Army
support,
Corps of Engineers,
like is what we called it in fire. Like we had like a whole division of people that they worked in vehicles, like and you call ground support, they come pick you up.
That'd be so much fun, dude.
Yeah, so
you must have had some really good times back then. Yeah. And probably some really pain in the ass times too.
This game brings some of those memories back, like for sure. like having to work as a team and those kind of things that have definitely come out from it. Those kind of feelings from it. But yeah, I did survive that, and hopefully,
if I may, you're a different gamer on Helldivers. You're a different gamer.
I think I know what you're talking about.
The ChukTomahawk that we became familiar with on, Ark and Call of Duty, Warzone, and other games is not the same ChukTomahawk that we have come to know on Helldivers, where liberty and democracy are at stake.
And I guess I'm assuming you mean like I'm a little more aggro and like assertive and yeah, I don't know. There's something happens.
I'm just looking up in the roof, trying to come up with the right words here.
Yeah. I don't think you have to. I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because it's not. No, it's one of those times where you want to compliment someone, but you got to find the right way to deliver it, because it could very easily come off as like a negative thing, but it's not intended that way. Like, I'll try to summarize this, because I don't want to go on a whole rampage of babbling. But like you're way more invested. To say the very least. Yeah. You're a lot more invested. Yeah. Where perhaps someone else in the squad would have been the one that really did care. The winning the round really matters, and like everyone has to be on, where that person would have been someone else in another game. Like, come on, guys, please, fuck, we just maybe not subtle, indirect behaviors that would indicate that one person is disappointed with the rest of the squad for not performing, when that would have been someone else before. That's you now, dude.
Yeah, you're right.
And it also shows in a lot of other ways, this is another thing, like just using as a comparison, and this isn't intended to sound negative, but like, when we were getting into Arc, like, we were already level 100 and everything. We had already gained so much ground and footwork. We were already end game players, like, and you came in and got to know the game and so on. And that happened like in, I think in Warzone as well, like we had been Warzoning for a long time and you came in and, and you've always been like that amazing squad mate, but you've never really been like the one if we get killed, it doesn't matter. It's a great time. We're gaming. It's fun. Yeah. You've always had a really great positive attitude, and it's not that you don't anymore. I'm not saying that, but and like we were already level whatever, and you'd come up and then obviously that changed and morphed over time because we've been playing these games for years now. We're all caught up. In fact, you've surpassed a lot of like so on and so forth. You create the tribes now, and we join in on them on Arc and everything. But that's how it all started. But like now with Helldivers, man. It's like there's a whole new ChukTomahawk, dude. Like fucking, like level 50 in a week. You can't, like you've effectively beat the game, if you will. And like, I'm like creeping and crawling up the ladder, just still trying to unlock shit. Like, and you and Pepe Tortilla are like, hey, did you know this? Did you know that? We need to do this. You guys are like so like, but you even more, dude. You're like so invested, like in managed democracy.
Yeah.
And I can kind of hear it when we're playing in the you can. There's those subtle. Yeah. Nuances of behavior, like from your squad mates, that it's like, all of a sudden the chat will go real silent.
It is so true. You're so like, and it's definitely something that I think could be really awesome, to talk about. Like, what is going on with that game that is making that happen? Because I feel like you bring a level of what you're talking about to every game, like there's something that seems like just winning in general like matters, and I think if you really went into my psyche and could see the subconscious parts, it probably is more important to me just to have fun and like hang out and just not offend someone. Like I don't know, like people talk about people's personalities or whatever, and one of mine is like it is real hard for me to watch other people be uncomfortable, like for just whatever reason. That's just part of my wiring or whatever. Yeah. But like this game,
like you want to get away from that.
Yeah, or make them comfortable if I can. Like if it's no sweat off my back, like you can do it. Or,
you're a kind-hearted human, man. I know you. Yeah, I know you in game, and I know you in IRL.
Yeah, but I understand having good boundaries in life. How you got to navigate this world or whatever. But at the same time, like in certain situations, I just remember from work or just wherever. Like if I feel about it strongly enough, like that will change. That does change, and work just sometimes forced me to do that. Like
if you see someone fucking off and it matters enough to you, you'll be like, hey,
yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Well, and
God damn it.
Yeah. Like at one point, like we had kind of. Yeah, I could tell long stories from work, but yeah, just having people that are, pretty tough people, like you've got to deal with, you got to tell what to do or whatever. Like,
dude, okay, well, maybe not from work, but give us a long one from recent video game experience. It's totally okay. If you need to trash Pepe Tortilla or myself, feel free, dude.
Well, no, I think someone was just the other night, it's kind of like. Each of these missions, there is a strategy that is important, like to it, and if, like you kind of, especially like you have your experiences, and that becomes sort of a belief that you have that's how that has to be done, and so when you see other people not listening to you. And time, there's a timer up in the corner of the screen. It's going down, and it gets frustrating too. Like nobody likes to get because it doesn't like let up. Like once things start going bad, they just keep just coming with it.
It's confirmed. It's a fact.
Yeah,
that part of the game mechanic is for it to get a little bit harder as the clock goes down.
Yeah, and it can
it's not going to get any easier.
it can start like right from the beginning, and like, and like a thing I see a lot of people do is we drop in, and if there's anybody around, like we start getting attacked, and a lot of people will fight like for that spot, and there's no reason to, like there's objectives in other places or whatever, but I hear sentry coming in, like like orbital coming in, and and I see like I'm already like halfway to the objective.
You really got it right.
Yeah, I'm already halfway there, and I'm looking back, and I see my squad mates are just fighting for nothing, and so
it's a hellscape back there, and you're just like, what are you all doing?
And then you get over there to the objective. You're like, well, they'll come on in a minute. I'll mark the objective here to give them a hint, and I'll keep going that way, and then you get over there and you start doing something that's made for 4 people to be attacking by yourself, and it starts going bad, and then
you're in a real pickle.
Fuck are you guys
yeah, they're off hitting like side little super credits. Oh, look, a little flashing beacon.
Yeah. You hear them, and it's like it'll be something that's like sort of just specific to them, like a sort of a personal order that they're working on, or the fact that
there's something to be said there, like because I mean, to be fair, and I don't want to not be I don't know what the right word is, but because I was working on that, and Pepe Tortilla offered, but he offered, and we were all talking about it. And it was like, no, let's keep playing the missions.
Yeah.
So there are, but yeah, I think if you're loading into a random, round with randoms, God, I can't even talk this morning. I think hey, everyone, at least be paying attention to the pings, to who's on your squad, where they are, what they're doing. And I think, I might be wrong, and you said everyone's different, but I think, at least in my opinion, the best, we'll call it major strategy instead of major order. We'll call it like the major strategy, and then from there you break it down into specific strategy. But the major strategy is play the objectives and then go explore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
if you've got something like sorry for interrupting, Chuck. If you got something like right there, it's directly in the path of A to B, U to the objective, and it's right there. You got a beacon right there, or the obelisk is right there, and it has the super samples. Of course, if there's no large packs of enemies, stop real quick, grab them, and then keep going. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I completely agree with you, Chuck. Because when you immediately land, call in your weapons. The ones that you're gonna the ones that you carry with you, obviously don't call in an orbital on yourself. But if you have a shield pack, call it in. If you have a grenade launcher, call it in. All that stuff. But then get to the objective. Yeah. Don't fuck around right there, right where you got dropped, and call in all because there are actual mechanics to this game where you can avoid a lot of the enemies if you're strategic.
Yeah, and it's actually it is strategic to avoid the enemies at times, but and I feel like too, everybody's in their own little world in the game, even though we're competing together, and at any one moment, you've assessed, okay, it's clear enough and it's worth it or whatever, but I could also be getting my ass handed to me on the other side of the map, and my perspective is where the fuck are you? But it's like I say, there's normally this part of me that's just everybody's kind of different. I'm just glad we're playing together. I'll wait here, or whatever. But this game, man, is so there's just something about it that, I think the pressure, the way we evac, the world's on fire every time, and you're just kind of in that mindset, and you realize that if I don't sort of take charge here and start making these things happen, it's not gonna work out at the end, and the learning curve takes time because people they're trying to process why did that happen, and they'll kind of, in your perspective, sort of have it wrong, and you've got maybe 50 more hours in than they do, and you're kind of you might be right there, but on another map you're gonna feel different, or whatever, and yeah.
Do you think maybe that part of this this new ChukTomahawk Do you think part of this derives from the fact that you are effectively, a Helldiver veteran already?
To some
you've got
degree,
more time. You've got your level fit. You're capped. You can't level up anymore. You have everything unlocked. You have nothing to spend any of these currencies on. There's nothing you can do more except as they release stuff.
Yeah, as far as time can get you, I feel like any human that could fog up a mirror, could get to level 50 with enough time. It's not that I've done some gaming feat or something it's happened at a reasonable pace. It's not exactly I've super struggled with it, but I don't think it's necessarily made me the best at it. But I think ultimately I've seen
or
chances.
Maybe should you not care as much because you can't get any further?
Well, here's
the
thing. Well, and like I say, we're talking about this. This isn't something I've been totally freaking out about. But if we're really on the subject, yeah, dude, there's been times I've come away, just oh, I can't believe they said that shit that fucking wasn't. It's I'm working on the fucking...
See, Chuck's being kind to everyone. What he's trying to say is fucking Pepe Tortilla, fucking Ovox, these cocksuckers.
There was a time I was fighting on the fucking eggs. I was in the eggs and there's 2 chargers. It was before they had quit putting 9 chargers on the screen at once and I just kept dying, and I'm trying to get them fucking eggs, and you two are just bing bonging around the fucking map, and you say, What are you dying to over there? On top of it, and and you're just
oh, I gotta what minute of the pod is this? I gotta save this moment.
And I want to say what in the are you guys doing? But I think I just said just working on the objective, just working on the objective over here. Yeah, because the reinforcements are something we all share. You share everything in this game, but we got to spin those together. And if somebody's shitting them away, it's a valid question. But at the same time, it's I would say maybe. I don't know, 5th, 6th charger I fucked with. I figured out if I can, kind of get out here and, cut a hard left or right at the end, it'll work out. But I'm it doesn't always, you can't always do that. There's just.
Not if there's a whole bunch on you.
There's just circumstances that for whatever reason, you ran out of stamina at certain times or just whatever reason, you're trying to do something else or whatever. But, to also have someone say, just go in an L-shaped pattern, on top. As if it's been a mystery, dude. I've been trying to solve. Why do I keep dying here?
It works, dude. It works. It's funny too because when I told you that it would work, I got killed by a charger.
It's not.
No.
Because I think your first instinct is to do the dive, and you start realizing the dive just ain't panning out. It takes too long to get off the ground, and so
they're just slow enough to be able to outmaneuver. But that's when I realized it's not the dive because I was doing the dive. I dive to the left or dive to the right, and it'd work 2 or 3 out of 10 times. But then I realized if you can listen to their charge behind you, because with good headphones, which we all have, you can hear it, man. They're right behind you. You can hear them go. And then when they're right there, you just gotta literally, and then go an L, and then then I started doing that, and I realized, okay, that got me to 5 or 6 out of 10 times I was surviving those. But then I realized the best way, this is just my opinion, you guys can try it out if you want, is you hear them behind you, they get real close, and that takes a little bit to figure out in itself, just gauging how close they are. You cut the left or the L, whether it's left or right. You cut an L, but then you bend it you just kind of bend that L in a little bit. So you go hard left so that you're well out of the way of their charge, and then you go back a little bit, and that'll give you not only that'll give you not only the save and that you'll survive it, but it'll also give you a bit more distance, and then you can turn around and, if you have the right weapons, take them out. So try that. Cut a hard left or a hard right, and then go back a little bit, almost like with a little arc, and it'll, and you might have. You never know. Anyways,
we'll see. I like pretty much since I played Tecmo Bowl, I've been running quick outs and button hooks and all kind of like pass. It pretty much comes down to like a solid pass route. Like if you just like get that, wait till that charger squats down in his stance and fucking give him the little
yeah, little faint.
but yeah, like there is something about this game though that it's what I started to mention there first, like examples when we were doing that Termicide tower mission, and I think Pepe Tortilla had a pretty decent strategy for that, and like
he got frustrated on us
somewhere
like
else,
you
and
did.
we got redeployed. On him, like no fault of our own, like there was no, and like it's just like we're normally like I think we would have patience, within 15 seconds.
And he's like, all right, now you guys stay here now. Like, it's like, dude, it wasn't our fault we got called in here.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. Like, he's like, stay over here. He's like, and then it happened again, and he told us to stay there at this other spot, and it's like, dude, I didn't say anything because my new policy is I just shut my mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no matter who, no matter even in real life, like I've learned it's just better to sometimes it's better to just.
Yeah,
but in my mind, I was
that an avoidance tactic though. Like come to find out, people that kind of makes some people mad, but I'm exactly the same way. It's better to just not say anything mean.
If it's worth engaging in, like if there's a value, like
something constructive, yeah. But if everyone's heated, like no, it's just not.
But in my mind, I was like, dude, we've been here the whole time. Because by that time you'd already died and come back in.
Yeah, I was actively running to do what he had asked, but you had put out a minefield and I was going the long way. He's like, "All right, I'll do it." And he just runs right into the minefield.
Does everyone hate minefields out there? Am I the only Helldiver that enjoys the minefield from time to time? It seems like listeners, ChukTomahawk and Pepe Tortilla seem to always find my minefields.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'll be like, guys, don't come over here to this spot. There's a choke point here. I'm putting down a minefield. Stay away from it.
I think the minefield, the mortar has kind of gotten that reputation. There's certain the barrage, like and you do seem to be attracted to those weapons, but as long as someone says like hey, look out, man, or I put this here, whatever, I really don't have no problem with it. But I do have some special, like a lot of times, like they'll make these things red or something, that doesn't like colorblind jive. Like they haven't talked about maybe I haven't read the patches close enough, but they've definitely improved this game, like colorblind, like jiving since the beginning, because there was some shit that was just near impossible to do colorblind. Yeah,
well, and the little red dots on the mines are hard to spot sometimes until you're like right up on them.
Yeah, and the game just forces you to be looking at, working on stratagems and running at the same time. Like there are times you're sort of watching where you're going, but you're not. And but
what are the top 3 things that piss you off about in Helldivers? Like when it comes to other players, or no, anything. Top 3 things that get on your nerves in the rounds. Doesn't matter if it's player related or whatever.
When I'm like running the mission and like maybe I'm playing on one of the harder difficulties, so I'm sort of forced to wait for the squad to fill or at least get a couple extra players. It's just going to be impossible to play on that difficulty alone. And people come on the ship, so I kind of feel like you're in my house at this point. Like, so watch.
Yeah, this is
watch your mouth.
What is the name of your ship? The SES
Hammer of Dawn.
Hammer of Dawn. Isn't that like one of the more common?
Yeah, So I'm already feeling like we're in my house, like my rules. Kind of, and we go down to the map, and then like maybe there's been 3 of us, and now another person joins, and all of the first 3 are already in there, and they start just pinging the map to try to like acting like I'm not picking it, for whatever reason.
Want to go here?
And there's
Let's
actually
go here.
a counter
Here?
that says there's like a 25-second counter, and it's just started, and they're just pecking away, and it only takes me about 5 seconds to kick you at that point, like. And that's exactly what I do. I was like, "Oh, you like to push buttons? Okay, well, here you go. Bye-bye." Yeah, I've done that. And lived to regret it too. Like end up needing that help or whatever. So maybe I live with that. But yeah, I think
it's just it's a small moment of suffering for a much larger pleasure. Chuck.
People getting pissy over things. Kind of like we just described. Like we all actually. Care about each other, and we've still gotten kind of angry. Like imagine, just random Joe Blow. Like, I had a dude jump on me over the samples. I think some people, like when they get the samples, they drop them off at extraction anytime they go by there, and then pick them up at the end. And I nobody sent me that memo, so I'm just.
I don't know how you drop shit. Like, how do you drop stuff on the PlayStation 5?
I have done it before, so I know you can, but I don't remember either. And that's the thing, when the guy jumped on me about picking up his ultra or super samples or whatever, I was perfectly willing to drop them, but I couldn't figure out how, and he got all pissy about it. And I actually, to avoid the problem, I just stayed around extract and I died there. And then he comes on and says, "Well, I hope you get those back." And I'm like, they're waiting right where they were. And oh, by the way, kick. Like,
Yeah.
How about you don't worry about it?
Watch out, everyone. If you're on Chuck's ship, you better have some goddamn manners.
Yeah, just I mean, I think I said okay, like as soon as he said it, but then it's just golly, like things can get triggered. That's it, just being pissy. And then I've had people just plain old shoot me. I was just running across. Guy just shot me, took my shit, and went on about his way. And yeah, that was harsh. I had a mission. I had a new mission at that point. My mission was to find him, and I found him and this other dude, at his friendship door, and I just roasted him right in front of that other dude, and took my stuff back. And yeah, that guy. That time we just played on or whatever, but. I've done that before. That's too. Funny. Like retaliations, can kind of go bad too.
Okay, so number one is the pinging on the map.
Number two is being pissy over the samples, and three is just killing me.
People killing you.
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
aggroing.
Yeah. The number one thing, my top three would be. The number one thing that gets on my nerves is when I'm trying to resupply. Like someone will call in the supply pod. The resupply pod. Yeah. No. Oh, well, I've never experienced that, but I'm sure that, there's people out there that will just take all 4 packages. Mm-hmm. No, what gets on my nerves is when I'm trying to take one package, and instead of grabbing the package, the Helldiver will jump up on top of the pod. I'm getting chased by, dozens and dozens of hunters. There's 2 fucking stalkers coming at me with their gnarly tongues. There's a couple of chargers there. You guys are fighting, spewers. There's a Bile Titan coming in. Another one just popped out of the hole over there. And I'm trying to dive for survival while stemming myself, getting close to the resupply pod. And then when I fucking finally get to it, I hit X and he jumps up on top of it. Like a freaking Mario character. And I'm just like, and then the little hunter comes up, and claws me, and then I'm done. Number 2 thing that gets on my nerves is that you can get ragdolled off of a cliffside, hit the ground, and you'll just lose a little bit of health. You'll be fine. Just some crazy fall, ragdoll against the rocks, after getting nailed by a charger. And then something else will still come up and fuck you up a little bit more, and you'll survive. But if you're 100% full health and you're running away from a couple of little hunters, they'll just whack you once, knock you down or slow you down, and then they'll get 2 little claws into you, and you're dead. That's it. God, it irritates the shit out of me.
It is.
Number three thing that irritates me is other players killing you, but I'm not going to mention that one because you already did. So I'll skip to the next thing that irritates the hell out of me. And it's just that there's still real troubles with us connecting. Let's be honest. Sometimes we have a smooth experience and we can all get on the same ship, no factor. But it's really a toss of the coin. We could just as easily have 30 minutes, 45 minutes just trying to figure out how we can get on the same ship. And that eats up time because we're on such different time zones that, someone will have to leave sooner. And that 20, 30 minutes that we could have been gaming is getting eating up on it. So, all of us trying to get on the same ship. So that irritates me too. That's annoying, but they'll fix that. I mean, we've been watching them fix everything that has been coming up since the release. And as everyone knows that plays this game is they didn't expect it to blow up like it has. Hey, just for shits and giggles, Chuck. While go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check something while we keep talking.
No, it's interesting, like I say, to see it kind of blow up, and like I say, I think that intensity that it brings out, that whatever makes you care, like it folds over into all aspects of the game eventually. I feel like and
Man, Caesar, right now they're at just on Steam. They're at number 4. They've surpassed Apex Legends.
Wow.
And the only things ahead of them are PUBG, Dota 2, and Counter-Strike 2.
Yeah.
And on Steam alone, their peak player count was 458,208 players. That's not counting everyone on the PS5.
Yeah. It's still going strong, but I feel like it probably has peaked to some degree, and they may have some content release in the future that could surpass its previous marks, but because I do feel like there are tons of new players, because it seems like there's a never-ending stream of lower, like as I go down the lower ranks sometimes to grind out this or that I'm war bonds or whatever I'm trying to get, like it seems like there's always new, plenty of new players. It looks like, and yeah, I saw some interesting videos about the balancing. I want to say that this particular creator was trying to say that there's kind of an unwritten rule in balancing that you only change one thing at a time, and they kind of have broken that. Because they nerfed, they basically nerfed the railgun and the backpack, the shield backpack. And I think one of their things is to try to prevent there being a meta. Like there should be, more ways to skin a cat than one or whatever, and whatever your personal play style is or challenges that you're trying to complete or achievement or whatever, you should be able to get it done with that. And they're trying to avoid that. But when somebody kind of gets used to using something, especially that player that doesn't have a ton of time to put in the game, like maybe they only, get a couple rounds in after work or whatever and got to take their kids to baseball games and stuff on the weekends. It's when you take the railgun away from them and the shield that they just got, like a little bit, and they didn't necessarily take it away, but they did nerf it.
And they're not that nerfed though. What are you getting to?
I'm getting at, they did change a lot of shit in the game. They changed the kind of the toughness of the enemies and the guns and all this stuff at once. And I've seen creators that are kind of saying this was a bad thing. Like they're going to lose players over this, and that
that means they're doing it right.
Yeah.
It means they're doing it right. I mean, everything they've done is so far is really unconventional, isn't it? And it's worked.
It has, but I haven't felt it yet. I'm still super invested or whatever, but I think you've said a couple times you can see the end, where you're going to get bored of this.
I already think it's repetitive. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play Grand Theft Auto Online.
Yeah, so
yeah, but I haven't lost the love for it.
Yeah, that doesn't exactly go with the reasons I gave, but it's there.
Yeah. I'm not gonna feel with Warzone, man. I just I wasn't feeling that anymore. You know what I mean? Like we're surgeons and everything. It was repetitive, and I mean it was fun. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like not fun, but you know, I was so ready for something fresh that was still high action combat shooter that I could play with you guys.
Yeah.
And then out of the sky comes Helldivers too. Well, rather out of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Arrowhead drops this game, and you know, Pepe brings it up, and then we mentioned it to you. You'd already heard about it. And fuck, here we are. 3 episodes in a row about this damn game.
Yeah, and you know, I think one of the things that comes with that success is there are a lot of people watching where they do go with this, and to keep the momentum going, they're going to need to keep us invested in this war, the galactic war that's going on, and you know, I also want to be able to continue to level up. I mean, once like the samples and stuff and the requisition slips kind of don't matter, and the experience points don't matter to me anymore. And I've already pretty much completed the new war bond, and you know, I don't think there's another. So that will get old. Like when there's kind of no point anymore. You do focus back on the objectives. I think that's one of the reasons my mindset is kind of there more than it used to be already. But I
never thought about that, man. I mean,
I also
really
think too, like there's something that's changed. Like we just kind of organically brought it up, but in the beginning, I don't know that I had those, like when we were doing the easier difficulties, like I didn't necessarily have that pressure that created that different player that you're talking about. Like, you know, I was just having fun. It was like, wow, this is fun. And I think that's what we should hold on to. Like, cause there are some times when you do it really stylishly. Like, you know, the other day, Pepe Tortilla and I, like, we're doing the defend mission, and we got our ass handed to us. And then the next time, we handed them their ass, and like you know, you can do it stylishly at times, you know.
Yeah, I think maybe also, I don't know. Like, I think you might be. Well, no, that's not true though. I was gonna say that maybe like a hypothesis might be because like I was gonna propose that maybe because you don't really play any other games besides Helldivers and Ark, but Ark's got a similar like a similar catch to it in a sense, like, and that's what maybe why you're so invested in Helldivers too. Where like I love to play Ghost of Tsushima, which is a single player. Like I get my where was I going with this? Like I get it out in a lot of other outlets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like but there are times where I'm also just as frustrated, like when things don't go well on Helldivers too, where you know where I'm just on Ark, on Ark as well, but
the boss
on
fights on
Helldivers
Ark is very similar.
But yeah, I think you're definitely on a different level though.
There's some kind of sunk cost. Like we've invested something, you know, and especially too, it's like once I've sort of, you know, came out of that introvertedness and you know, kind of been like it matters even more to me, you know, when I've had to loud talk the squad. I mean, those personnel missions are the ones that I was doing that to people like randos to the most. Like when the only way you could get those personnel loaded missions were to get everyone else to stay away.
Get the scientists safe.
Yeah, you had to really get forceful with people then, and you know, I think that's what's going to keep this game going. Like whatever that is, you know, is.
Well, and you know, like something I think we forget, when we're all frustrated out and shit, and like on the borderline of chewing each other out, like breaking the silence and going, "Fuck, what are you cocksuckers doing?" I'm like, just, you know, just totally losing it. I think is that we're forgetting that like even if you die, you're not really losing much. That's what's so cool about this game.
Yeah,
like it's not like Ark where if you fail the mission, fuck man, it comes with a lot of loss.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of time lost. In Helldivers, the only thing you're losing is the amount of time on the top corner, which is like 14 minutes. Sometimes it's 5 minutes, I think. I don't know what the actual, but the most is 40. Right?
Yeah.
You're not like, no matter every round you go in, you're going to come out of it with more than when you went into it. So there's never a losing scenario in Helldivers, if I believe, if my understanding is correct. You can go in there and you're still going to get a little,
like you've lost 20 experience points or something. Like,
no,
like
I don't
at the
think
most
you can't lose. You can't lose experience points.
Well, if I don't extract, it costs the base level 20 experience points or whatever, and then if we're playing whatever difficulty we're playing on, it gets multiplied by that. So if we're playing on suicide, it gets multiplied by 150%. So ultimately you're going to lose.
That's a gain, though.
50 experience points that you would have gotten if I had have gotten on the ship.
But you're still leaving with experience points, correct?
Oh, I still get the experience points for you
Right.
going, but the squad as a whole, if I don't make it on.
But what I'm saying is whether you're a squad or you're one singular Helldiver, if I have 100 experience points, that's all I have, and I go into a mission, and I just get in the mission and I immediately get killed, or let's just say I get one objective and then I get killed. I'm gonna come out of that mission with more than 100 experience points, no matter what. I might not get anything else. I might not get any medals. I might not get any requisition slips. I might not get any samples. But, I just died. Oh, it was frustrating. Like, why am I frustrated? It's a win-win no matter what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, way more.
And yeah,
than
there's levels to that. Like, because if you go in there and you get every single sample the map has to offer, you get all these requisition slips, you get all this stuff, and then you get all the, every single super sample and everything, and then you get killed and everyone dies and you don't get any extractions. Yeah, I mean you're still leaving the round with more than you went in, even if it's just a little bit of experience points. But I admit that it sucks when you lose all that shit that you just had. Like, again, agreed.
Samples,
but I'm just what I'm trying to get at, I guess, is it's funny how we can still get flustered, get a little aggroed out, when in reality we're always winning.
True. I mean,
and that's so cool about and that's a compliment to Helldivers too, right there.
Yeah, and and it's like a happy time. Like we've all, especially if we're all on, and like I say, I feel like usually that overrides for me. I just, it wouldn't matter. But there's something about this game that, I think it's the difficulty is part of it. Like
I think the propaganda got to you. The SEAF and Super Earth got to you, man. They got to you, dude. You're pushing Helldiver.
I've been taking all that just literally, but
you're their model soldier. You're their top recruiter.
That's a question I had for myself.
You're the portrait of managed democracy.
If you were to find out that people came from space and all this was real and they wanted you to go, would you go be a Helldiver?
A Helldiver, as we're familiar with. Sorry, took my face away from the mic. A Helldiver, as we're familiar with it on the game. Mm-hmm. No.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
That's some crazy shit, dude.
I don't think many Helldivers come back alive, at all. Yeah, it's pretty grim. You
remember the scene on Starship Troopers when Rico's going in and and the guy asked him, "What are you signing up for, son?" "Infantry, sir." He's like, I don't remember what he says exactly, but he's like, "Oh, good on you." And he comes out and he has no legs and just one arm and and then Rico realizes that the guy's completely just jacked up, and he's like, "Oh damn, this is what I'm going into." Whoa.
No freaking way, man. Yeah, but
I just remember loving that movie as a little kid because there was a couple of scenes in there where you got to see some titty.
It's been years since I saw it.
Dude. That's the only way we could see any titty back then was finding VHS tapes and sticking them in the VCR, dude, or going to an uncle's house and looking under the bed. You know what I mean?
Oh my god,
that was the only way you could see any of that back then. But that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. God, what a movie, Starship Troopers. Hey, if you're listening and you play Helldivers too, and you still haven't seen Starship Troopers, look, see it. Am I wrong, Chuck?
Well, it's been so long. I can't. I mean, I can kind of picture that scene you're talking about, but far as being able to quote it and stuff, I just really can't.
I was paraphrasing. I don't remember the scene exactly, but I remember the scene from when I was little. I mean, it's an old movie. When did Hold on real quick. What year did Starship Troopers come out? 1997. Wow. So I was 10 years old, dude.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. So what else, Chuck? We're coming up on our hour. We're going to want to wrap this one up. This has been a fun episode, dude. I don't know if I've ever laughed this hard.
I did make a top 10 list of things you never want to hear from your squad mates on Helldivers. So,
gosh, I wish we had some like night show music we could play. Tonight, top 10 with ChukTomahawk.
Okay.
All right, turn it down, man. Turn it down.
All right, easy there. Yeah. Well, yeah. For your listening pleasure, I've came up with the top 10 things you never want to hear from your random Helldiver squad mates.
Okay, so these are random. You load in with randoms. Got it.
Top 10 things you never want to hear them say. Number 10.
Number 10.
I'm going to mud. No one die while I'm gone.
That's fucking.
Number 9. I'm using the new friendship stratagem. Number 8. Want to share a hell pod?
Oh, wait. Hold on. Keep your mouth close to the mic, Chuck. You're getting too far away from that bad boy.
Number 7. I'm colorblind and also regular blind.
What? Where did you get these? No, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I don't want regular blind. Watch out for that orbital.
What were we on there? Was the 6? All right. Dad, is that you?
Okay. Was that number 6?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Number 5. Do you mind if I take a moment to tell you about Space Jesus?
Oh my God.
Number what? 5? 5?
No, this is 4. This would be 4.
4.
Wouldn't it?
4.
Jesus.
All right.
Come on, man. This is your own list over here.
It's almost 9 to 10. Like
Number
10 to 12. If we win, maybe my parents won't get divorced.
Oh, Jesus. Damn, dude. How old are these Helldivers? Jesus.
Number 3, butthole breach.
Oh, damn. Hold on, let me give you a drum roll on the last 2.
Number 2 is the moon told me to, and it's watching us right now.
That one's good.
And
the moon's watching us.
And number 1 thing you never want to hear your random squad mates say on Helldivers 2 is, I'm pregnant, you're the father, and I'm going to kill all 3 of us.
Jesus. Does somebody write that in the chat?
Jeez.
Where did you find it?
It's been tough. I made them all up.
Did you
made
pull
them all
it?
up.
Oh, you made
comedy musings of me and the help of the devil's lettuce.
Yeah, meaning AI.
Yes.
Little large language models there. Mm. Oh, God, which one was my favorite? One was the moon one. The moon told me to, and it's watching us.
I refined it down. God, the funniest thing I've heard though lately be said on just, I think the Mex brought it out, was go gadget extend and harden. That was gonna be on there.
Extend and harden. I think harden. No, yeah, that's how it'd go.
You want to do it first? Order. You want to go?
Extend and harden.
Yeah. God. Hope that reminds everyone just to have some fun playing Helldivers. Like, you know, myself included. Like, I've got to chill, like a little bit. But I also love that it brings that out in us, and it's fun.
Well, and you've really like taken you're a formidable player in the Helldivers 2 escape. You know,
I feel like it's pretty universal too, though, because I feel like it's squad wide. Like, everyone's had that moment. Like, you know.
Well, we'd have to look at the stats, and they're all there. I mean, that would be the thing. Like, if we were ever to want to look at like, oh, who's the best Helldiver per the numbers, we'd have to like look at the numbers, and we'd have to check a time game, like how many hours have you been in battle. And mark it, because I think you've played longer than any of us. So we'd have to what we would have to do is look at where you are now.
And divide it by hours, yeah.
Well, no, we'd have to mark it, look at all your stats, be like, okay, at the 100, I know you've played more than 100 hours, but let's just say at the 100-hour mark, these are what Chuck's stats are. And then we wait for Pepe to get there, mark it, see what his are, wait for me to get there, mark it, see what mine are, and then we can do a side-by-side and be like, okay, now let's look at all these things and like, let's evaluate which one is considered a good thing or a bad thing, you know, because like, for the record, I think you need to work on your reinforcement calling in.
It'd be interesting.
There's sometimes where I will I'll be like, okay, they just died. I'm calling in my thing, and I've just gotten so used to you never calling in reinforcements, Chuck, that I'll purposely not call in a reinforcement just to see if you ever notice that half of the squad has died, and see if you even will call in, because you also. Never mind, we're not going to backtrack. Maybe on the next episode we're doing a retrospective, but maybe if we come back and do another Helldivers episode, I'll get to tell y'all out there what I think about my squad.
Jesus. This reminds me, like, I used to be roommates with my best friend, like when I was in college, and like at one point we got in an argument over the dishes, and came to find out we both felt like neither one of us was ever doing the dishes. I feel like that's where this reinforcement thing. I swear, like, I feel the same way about everyone. Like, I'm just like, what are you doing?
But the stats are so clear. There we go. Hey, sorry everyone. We had a technical difficulty, and Chuck's end, the recording stopped for some reason. But we are back, and I think what we were just talking about was reinforcements.
That's true.
We don't want to rehash the whole. Yeah, don't want to rehash the whole conversation. We don't really know where we stopped or left off, but I believe we were going to look at the stats on who is reinforcing more efficiently is what we were going to take a gander at. And I believe Chuck had accepted the challenge, and we were going to take a peek at that. And I kind of accused him of probably, that he was going to do way better now because I brought it up.
I stand behind my performance. I say how we want to look at it. I've at least been reinforcing the same amount, if not more. But it's something I'll think about. Yeah, you're right. And that's like, I think where it's going is this game. Boy, it brings that out in everyone. And
yeah. And then I think this got cut out as well. But what I was saying is, like, something that gets on my nerves a whole bunch is when you'll be on the objective and someone calls in an orbital or an airstrike right on you when you're like trying to be like, hey, I've been here. But
it's always a little different from the other guy's perspective, it feels like, and got to use a little ounce of patience, I guess, too. Yeah, but God, it's so frustrating because I something I've noticed, like when that's going on, like when I'm waiting to be reinforced, is there are actually times it might be beneficial, like when we're really struggling to say clear an area that where you've been fighting for a while and you're trying to get away from there and onto the objective. Mm-hmm. It's easier for one person to live than two sometimes, especially when all you're going to do is run, mm-hmm. and you've failed at it a few times. Like it doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense to keep throwing those reinforcements away. But
yeah. Well, dang, dude, it sucks we lost that last little bit of podcast, but we needed to wrap it up anyways. Any final comments for the squads out there?
I think just, myself included, I got to remember to have fun and be a little patient with folks and myself. And yeah, it's
this has been one of the funniest episodes ever, man. And got a lot out. We got our grievances out.
Yeah, like Festivus.
But yeah. Hey, so this has been episode 45. We're chugging along, approaching 50. Halfway to 100, man. Been doing this for a minute now. It's been fun.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Really hope you enjoyed the podcast out there, fellow Helldivers. Feel free to reach out anytime. We're always checking our our social media and stuff. You can hit us up directly via email at ovoxandchuk@gmail.com. That's ovoxandchuk@gmail.com. Our handle on most of the social media out there, I think all of it is at NWG Podcast. If you want to follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, formerly Twitter, on YouTube, we're there as well. We're trying to get more active on all of those platforms. But hey, yeah, I think the coolest thing, the most awesome thing you could do for us that we would appreciate so much if you did enjoy the episode, and if you enjoy the pod at all, would be to rate and review us on the podcast platform that you listen to pods on. If it's Spotify, maybe you could drop a follow. Apple Podcast, I think it's like a rating and a review. Man, any of that stuff would be awesome. Even if, like I think Apple Podcast, you can leave an actual review, right? You can like say something. Mm-hmm. Like even if you have nothing good at all to say about us, you might even hate our guts. Let it rip. Just drop us a 5 stars, though. We'll read it out on the podcast.
Punch that out.
Even if you want to tear us out, or if you totally agree with Chuck about his perspectives on Helldivers and his grievances, or if you think he's being or you think he's kind of insane, and you'd like to mention that, and you'd like to clarify that, just drop it in a review. As long as it's 5 stars, that's all good. It's all good, and you'd be helping us so much, man. Because I tell you. Gosh, it's hard to get out to new listeners out there. So with your help, hopefully we'll get out to some more gamers, non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers, and even NPCs. Mm. Yeah.
And Helldiver squad mates.
Yeah. Fucking A, man. Love you, dog.
Love you too, man.
Love you, brother.
It's a fun episode.
Yeah, this was a fun one. And technical difficulties occur. No problem. And we'll, I'll just hit the switches there and try and no one will even know except for that we told them, so that's okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks everyone, and we'll hey, don't forget our next episode's going to be really cool, retrospective on an old video gaming console that is important to the history of gaming. Don't forget to tune in. Thanks everyone. Thanks ChukTomahawk.
Appreciate you, man. Love you.